What if your business feels misaligned, not from the lack of effort, but because your body knows something you haven't listened to yet? Every tension, every gut feeling, every moment of overwhelm is actually a signal pointing you to better decisions, more alignment, and a way to grow without burnout. That's exactly what we're going to dive into today's episode. Welcome to the Unleash Your Ambition podcast. I'm Stacie Walker. My co-host for today's episode is Quintina Sunny. Quintina is a somatic alchemist and human trafficking survivor turned healer. We have a conversation about how real transformation happens through your body, not just your mind. We also talk about understanding human design in a way that actually makes sense, how knowing your type, strategy, and authority can help you stop living by everyone else's rules and start operating authentically. And we also talk about connecting the dots between somatic healing and human design so you can finally make choices that protect your energy, prevent burnout, and grow your business in a way that actually feels good. So if you've been feeling stressed, overextended, or like you're constantly doing things and pushing without results, then this conversation will shift everything you thought you knew about alignment, energy, and success. All right, grab your pen, your paper, and your favorite drink and get the most out of this episode. Quintina, I'm so excited you're here. Can you please share who you are, what you do, and how you help people?
Yes, thank you so much, Stacie, for having me on. I'm so excited. I'm Quintina. I'm a somatic alchemist, which means I use body-based healing to change the lives of ambitious women so that they can feel more in alignment with their life and in their businesses.
I love this. And I'm just really excited that you're here because we're going to be talking about somatic healing and human design because I think this is just really relevant in today's space. The first question I have for you is like, what was the turning point that made you realize like this work wasn't personal? It was something that you wanted to share with others.
Oh, goodness. I love this
Mhm.
because I did not really see myself as somebody who was quote unquote ambitious, but I did know that I really wanted, I had a spark inside and I was like, I want to do something more. A lot of people don't know that I'm also a survivor of human trafficking. So when I came out of that, really my whole life revolved around healing from that. And when I really had the big shift was the first time leaving my trafficker, but then the second time was really this opening up of this world around somatic healing and body-based healing. And I was invited randomly to do some breathwork class online. And that's really what opened me up to shifting from mindset work to body-based work and somatic work. Because I think as business owners, we focus so much on our mindset. We talk about money mindset, all these different types of mindset, but we don't really get to talk about the body and how
Yeah.
important the body is in building businesses and feeling safe to hold more. And
Mm.
so that kind of launched my desire to move into somatic healing. And then I found human design. And that was the second thing that I kind of started to combine because I think human design feels very cognitive, but there's actually so much energetically and with the body that you can use with your specific design in order to decondition from all of the things that everybody else has put on you and move in this world forward with your own authentic energy and actually being able to make decisions in alignment with who you are and how your energy actually works.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And thank you. I mean, thank you for having the courage to put your work out there because it helped you, it changed your life.
It
And
did.
now there's a ripple effect where you're helping change others' lives. So that's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
So I know I mentioned this before we hit record, like, many entrepreneurs, creatives, like they push through stress, without realizing like how much their bodies are holding, you know. And I agree with you about like there's so much focus on the mindset, but I think it should be the mind, body, and spirit because they're all connected. Um, which is why I really wanted you on the podcast because I haven't really had anyone really talk about this in detail, you know, and I think it's something that I want people that are watching and listening to learn more about because um, we can do the strategy, we can do the mindset, but there's more pieces to this that will help expand us, you know, as humans in ways that we probably didn't even think was possible. So, Quintina, like what does somatic healing actually mean and why is it so powerful?
Yeah, so somatic healing is body-based healing. You'll hear me refer to somatic and body-based are interchangeable. And the reason I use body-based is because a lot of people feel that shifting the mind is where your behaviors actually make that shift and make that move. But actually, our mind is secondary to the body. So in somatic healing, what we're doing is we are connecting the mind and the body together so that when the external circumstance is happening, it activates something in the body, which then tells your brain to then do some sort of action. So if we can catch ourselves between the the initial reaction and the behavior, we can change so much about how we live, what we do, and we can support our ambitions because we're actually able to expand to be able to hold more. And in somatic healing, somatic being that body-based aspect is really a descent into our actual body. Because a lot of times we're thinking 5D for all of those spiritual people out there. We're thinking 5D, we're thinking upper chakras. Really, the somatic is really getting into the body's healing. And when we are able to create space between the reactions that we have in our body and the behaviors that we do, we are able to make better, more aligned decisions. And then that translates into actually using your human design because then you can have that actual space between those two things and you'll know energetically how you're meant to move forward, which is where that human design piece comes in.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's
this is,
really cool.
yeah, it is very, very interesting. So I know over what I've noticed over the past couple of years, maybe three, that human design has been gaining a lot of traction in the entrepreneurial space, you know, specifically more so for women. I mean, of course, I'm not really watching what the bros are doing too much in the space,
Yeah.
but I just remember just seeing a lot of this pop up and gain traction. So how can understanding your design actually help you run your business and your life, you know, because I think both of those are definitely connected, of course. How can that help them do this more effectively, like knowing your design?
Knowing your human design is so important because, like I said before, it's allowing you to decondition, remove, and let go of all of the labels that society, your parents, your siblings, all these other external factors have put onto you,
Mhm.
because that's not really who you are. They say that we're a conglomerate of all the different people and experiences in our lives where that is true, there's also an element of being able to actually remove those labels and those thought processes and behaviors that we learned and be able to create a new way to function. And because there are five different types, but seven different authorities and five different strategies, which I'll talk a little bit about here in a second, you are able to kind of pinpoint your energetic field and how not only the world interacts with you, but how you interact with the world on an energetic level. So this is bypassing all of the logic and mindset and all of this stuff and getting really into the energetic body to say, how is my body reacting and what behavior and decisions can I make that are actually in alignment with what I know is best for me.
Hmm.
So, knowing your type, your strategy, and authority are going to be the top three things. It's kind of like knowing your big three in astrology. So, with knowing those three things, your type is going to be your auric field. How do you interact with the world, and how does the world interact with you? With the five different types, some types are magnetic, some types are repelling, some types need to use the lunar cycle to move, and some types are penetrating. So, depending on what type of aura you have, you kind of know how to interact with people and how you're going to affect them when you're in their field. Our aura extends 3 to 6 feet out from us, so it's a huge influence not only for us, but also for the other people that we're around. Then your strategy is going to be how you use the information that comes in through your aura to respond. Some people need to wait to respond. Some people need to wait for an invitation. Some need to, again, wait that lunar cycle. And others need to inform and initiate. There's only one type of person that is actually here to initiate, and they're only about 10% of the population. So for that 10% of the population, yeah, go ahead, initiate. But everyone else is here to wait for something. And waiting isn't this passive thing that we're just sitting derping around. We're actually waiting with a purpose. And that is where your authority comes in. With your authority, like I said, there's 7 different types of authority, and there's a many combinations of those types and strategies and authorities that you can have. But with those 7 authorities, you're able to then figure out how your process is to make an aligned decision. For me, I am a mental projector, and so I have an environmental authority, which means that I need to actually soundboard to trusted people, and I get to feel how the words land back in my body. I'm not asking for advice, I'm not asking for any feedback. I need to talk to somebody I trust. So then, as the words are coming out of my mouth, I can literally feel in my body, especially when I'm in the right environment. When I'm doing this, I can actually feel where those words are landing and if they're making me feel anxious, if they're making me feel calm and soothed. And I can make a decision based off of how I feel, how my body is taking in the information. There's other types that or other authorities, like one of the most common authorities, and well, actually, the common authority is emotional, because all of the types except for one are able to be an emotional authority. This is about 70% of the population.
Wow.
Those people need to wait until they've reached a place of neutrality. They're going to go through an emotional wave. They're going to have high highs and low lows. And if they make decisions in those high highs and low lows, they're really gonna they're gonna figure out and find out how not great that is, right? And so not waiting and making decisions in those highs and lows actually cause them to make those misaligned decisions because they're out of congruence with their body's natural energy. They need to wait for that neutrality. So you can kind of see how knowing the different combination of your type, your strategy, and authority can give you that powerful knowledge to be able to make those aligned decisions in the way that you were meant to. And that's why I love human design so much and why it's such a beautiful somatic practice and something to really tap into.
Ooh, thank you. And I can see why you're obsessed with it. It's a beautiful obsession. Yes.
It's so good.
Fascinating stuff. I love it. So, for someone who's like completely new, like what's the simplest way to start using human design in daily decision making?
Yes. First, you would need to know your birth information, so that's how you would find it. And then using it on a daily basis is really, I would start if you didn't know anything else about your design, knowing what your type is. because knowing what your type is knowing how you interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. So knowing this back and forth interaction between you and the world will help you to understand why some people react to you in a certain way. For manifestors, they have a very repelling aura. So, for a lot of people who don't know they're a manifester, they will wonder why people are so put off by them when they don't even know them. And it's because their aura is meant to push other people out of the way so that they can do their initiation, they can act on their urges. And so while they're being having other people be pushed away, that can feel very isolating if you don't know what's happening. So that's one way. Then there's others like projectors like me who penetrate people's aura. And if we penetrate and we start to tell people about themselves without being asked, I like to compare it to reading somebody's diary, but not telling them you did, but then having a conversation with them about something that you read in their diary. That doesn't feel very great, does it? So having that aura and knowing that, oh, if I start just giving unsolicited advice, or if I just start reading people's diary, then they're going to react not very well to me. So having the information of knowing at least your aura and how you interact with the world would be the very first thing, because this is all about letting go of the conditioning and all of these labels and things that the world has put on you so that you can live in authenticity, so that you can make space for your ambitions, for your dreams, for your goals. Because if you're bogged down by all these labels and all this stuff that you don't actually believe, but you feel like you have to, you don't have room for what you actually are passionate about.
Ooh, drop that mic because so true. So true. Yeah, the labels and all the conditioning can just really disorient yourself in this life that we're experiencing. Like it sounds so freeing, Quintina. Sounds
Oh,
so
it's
freeing.
literally
Yeah.
when I when I discovered human design, it was like everything started to make sense. The whole way that because I wanted so badly as a projector to give people advice. It's like I can see their 12-step program. Like I can see far beyond into what they need because my aura is penetrating. I'm getting all this information from their subconscious and I'm able to, which is why I love what I do as a somatic practitioner and a guide is I'm able to extract all the things that you're hiding from yourself. And so if I'm not invited though, like I said, no one really likes when someone's poking around in their subconscious and then they bring up the topic, right? So as somebody who can dig around in there, I'm able to find what I need, the information that I need in order to guide to success. And so that's like the path of the projector and why it's so important for people to like really understand the dynamics of not only their design, but also knowing the people around them's design because they may have different auras and interact differently too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That so beneficial. Thank you so much for all of this. Oh my goodness.
You're so
I I
welcome.
I know that we're just scratching the surface, but I mentioned before I'd love for you to come back and we can talk some more about this because I'm fascinated too. And I'm just so happy that you came on here because, the whole Unleash Your Ambition brand is about authenticity, being in alignment, doing things that are aligned with your personality, your vision, your mission. And yes, the labels, trauma, not working on healing things that help you expand and instead of contracting um makes a big difference in how you impact your life and the lives of others, especially if you're using your gifts and experiences to help people through your business. So I can see how this can create exponential growth with a person and then it ripples into other areas of their lives. So Quintina, I would love for you to share with the people watching or listening, where can they connect with you outside the podcast?
Yes, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Actually, Instagram and nope, it's just Instagram is quintina.somatic.alchemist. I'm also on Facebook, Quintina Sunny. I'm on TikTok as Quintina Sunny. And I also have a website, quintinasunny.com. You can find all of my different offerings, coaching. I also do human design readings. So if you want to go more in depth with your actual design, I can do that as well.
Wonderful. So, for you who is watching or listening, first, if you're watching on YouTube, look below this video in the description and you will see all the information to connect with Quintina. And for you who's listening on a podcast app, just look in the description and there's a link to the show notes, and you will be able to get all of that information and connect with Quintina. So thank you so much. So final words of wisdom to the person, of course, who's new to all this and is fascinated. Like, how do somatic healing, because I just want you to hit this home, somatic healing and human design complement each other in helping people create businesses that feel authentic and sustainable. All right, because I know that there's so many people that go all in, which is fine, but they end up burning themselves out. They end up doing things that really weren't aligned with them in the first place, you know. So what do you have to say about that?
When you know how your energy works and how you make the best aligned decisions, you know how to move forward with confidence, with congruence, and you are able to actually find and do the things that light you up, that excite you, and you don't burn out because you know that you're saying yes to things that you need to say yes to, no to things that you need to say no to, so that you're not burning yourself out and you're not overcommitting to things that are not in alignment. Because when you are creating that space for more, when you're doing somatic healing, because that's really what somatics is, it's creating space for the more aligned things in your body so that you can actually do those things that you want to do, your dreams, your goals. So being able to have that somatic practice, and human design is a somatic practice. So you're already doing it when you look into your human design and you start to experiment with it. And so what I would say is that if you want to grow your business or even just feel more in alignment with your life, find more joy and peace and happiness, then expanding your capacity to hold more and using your body to create that space will be the way that you can hold all of that and have the success that you are looking for.